Hey, my name is Miles Menard and welcome to my YouTube channel. This channel is where I share the living Word of God in hopes to glorify God, share what I'm learning, and encourage every person who clicks on one of my videos. Let's get started. Today I'll be reading from Mark chapter 1, starting in verse 39. And Jesus went into their synagogues throughout all Galilee, preaching and casting out the demons. And a leper came to him, beseeching him and falling on his knees before him, and saying to him, "If you are willing, you can make me clean." And moved with compassion, Jesus stretched out his hand and touched him, and said to him, "I am willing, be cleansed." And immediately the leprosy left him, and he was cleansed. And Jesus sternly warned him, and immediately sent him away. And Jesus said to him, "See that you say nothing to anyone, but go show yourself to the priest and offer for your cleansing what Moses commanded for a testimony to them." But he went out and began to proclaim it freely and to spread the news about, to such an extent that Jesus could no longer publicly enter a city, but stayed out in unpopulated areas. And they were coming to him from everywhere. Okay, now let's go back and look at this passage again, because something pretty interesting happens that could likely go unnoticed. In verse 41, when the leper comes to Jesus and says, "If you are willing, you can heal me," and Jesus says that in fact he is willing, it's then that Jesus reaches out his hand and touches the leper. But think about this. Jesus didn't need to touch the leper to heal him. He could have simply thought of his healing and he would have been healed, or used the power of his words to heal him. But instead, Jesus chose to reach out his hand and touch the leper. So just so we're all clear here, a man in desperate need came to Jesus, got on his knees, and it was Jesus who reached out and touched him. Jesus touched a man's life who was deemed untouchable and hopeless. Sounds a lot like our lives as sinners. And the compassion that Jesus had on the man was personal and intentional. What happened right after? Well, Jesus sent the man on his way and told him not to tell anybody about what had happened. But the man in his excitement couldn't hold back from telling everybody the good news of what happened in his life because of what Jesus did. And he went on loudly proclaiming what Jesus had done for him. And then so many people came flocking to Jesus from all over the place. In fact, there were so many people that in order for Jesus to continue in his mission set before him by God, he had to go out into the country where there weren't as many people, and still, people from everywhere started to follow him. So what does this teach us? Well, in this story, Jesus did not reach out to the masses, but instead he touched the life of one man. And it was because of that one act of compassion that so many other people ended up coming to Jesus. We are not called to reach out to the masses, to the hundreds and thousands of people all at one time, trying to show compassion to each one of them, because you can't do that. Compassion is personal. However, we are called to live out of the depths of God's love. And it is when we have the courage to do that to the people in our family or friends or workplaces or schools that lives are changed. One act of compassion to anyone you encounter could have a bigger impact than you could ever imagine. Be courageous. Have a wonderful day.